Hello everyone. Today we are going to discuss about concreting in cold weather. Why we need to consider concreting is in cold weather. It's a very important when you do the concreting in cold weather to control the concrete temperature. Because during the concreting we need to have a certain temperature of the concrete to develop this strength. For completing the hydration process successfully we need to have a certain temperature, certain heat. So if the concrete temperature is not supportive, if environment is not supportive, that could be an issue. Let's see what are the important things that we need to consider during the concreting of a cold weather, and how do we prevent that, and what are the preventive measures that we can take during those kind of situations. Let's start why we need attention on the concrete pouring on the cold weather. Cold weather is affect the heat of hydration or the hydration process. Concrete need to be placed at a temperature that is above the freezing so that it can properly cure and it can reach its full strength. That we have to keep in mind. If the temperature of the concrete mix is get cold, it can result in concrete curing. If the temperature of the concrete mix is too cold, it can result in concrete mix not curing properly, which can lead to the decrease in the strength and the durability. Therefore, we have to keep in mind this is a very important thing. In addition, cold weather can also cause the concrete to set quickly, which can result in number of issues such as cracking and scaling. So therefore, we have to be very careful. We need full attention when you do the concreting in these kind of situations. Let's now talk about the temperature controls. What are the issues connected with the concrete temperature and how we need consider all those. The most important challenge is to maintain the concrete temperature at the adequate level to complete the hydration process. This challenge comes from three areas. First one is the temperature of the ground, second one is the temperature of the concrete, next one is the air temperature. All those affect this process of hydration. Let's see what's temperature of the ground. It shall be make sure not to place the concrete on the frozen ground surface. It will significantly influence the hydration process. When it is frozen ground, the heat generated from the hydration process directly will absorb by the ground, so that there would be adequate strength development because of this heat absorption, and there is no temperature rise in the concrete. Temperature of the concrete. Concrete temperature is an indicator of heat generation during the hydration of the cement. According to the industrial norms and some guidelines, the placing temperature of the concrete shall not be less than 5 Celsius. Further, it is recommended to maintain the concrete temperature after the placing. It is above 5 degrees Celsius at least first 48 hours to let the concrete to develop adequate strength to avoid the frozen damage, which is formation of micro cracks in the concrete due to the increase in the ice volume. Therefore, we have to maintain the concrete temperature at least above 5 Celsius for initial 48 hours. Let's see what's the important facts about the air temperature. It is the common practice to do the concrete work when air temperature is not less than 5 Celsius. If we do the concrete pouring below 5 Celsius, that shall be done under closely monitoring situation under experts' advice. As we discussed previously, if the temperature drops below 5 Celsius, then it will significantly affect the performance of the concrete. Now let's see how we handle this situation. What are the things that we can use to overcome this situation? One of the main methods we use in controlling this process is the use of the admixtures. Admixtures can be used to improve the workability of the concrete, increase its strength, and increase the resistance of freezing and thawing cycle. One of common admixtures that is used in a cold weather concrete is the calcium chloride, which can help to prevent the concrete freezing. Also, we have to keep in mind, the chloride is not good for the concrete. Chloride could cause the corrosion of the reinforcement. Therefore, when you're using the chloride admixtures containing chloride, so we have to make sure that do not exceed the allowable limits. Another important consideration when pouring the concrete in cold weather is use of insulations. Insulating the concrete can help to keep the heat and prevent the concrete from freezing. There are a number of different types of insulation that can be used. Concrete can be covered with the blankets, you can use the mat, you can use the sprays to cover the concrete surface from the external environment so that the heat transfer can be controlled. In addition to that, we can do the modification of the concrete mix. As we can shown here, there are several methods that we can adapt to modify the concrete mix. Since there are some possibilities in lower strength development, we may increase the grade of the concrete. So if we increase the grade of concrete, then there will be an adequate strength in the concrete with the low strength development case. With strength development, we can use the accelerator. So if you use the accelerator, you can gain the strength early. And also we can use the rapid hardening cement. That also gain the early strength, quick strength, because we may not be old for long time. So initially, quickly you can get the strength. And also, since this type of reactions or use of this type of cements create a lot of heat, that also will be very useful to face this kind of a situations. In addition, we may use the high range water admixtures to lengthen the setting time. So with the cold weather, there will be a issue in the concrete setting early, so that also we could be able to control with this measure. What are the other controls that we can manage concrete pouring in a cold weather? Some of curing methods we can adopt in these situations, because curing is a very important thing. Curing is not only the reducing temperature of the concrete, it can be used for the increase in the temperature of the concrete. Curing is also increasing of the temperature. So under the curing, increasing of the temperature is also there. In this kind of a situation, that is very useful. One of the most commonly used method is the hot mixing methods. Then the other methods are electrical curing method, infrared curing, use of the heat insulations. So let's see what's the hot mixing method. This kind of a curing method is used to increase the temperature of concrete ingredients. The temperature of the water aggregate can be increased by heating. In addition, we can inject the steam into the concrete to increase the concrete temperature, to make the concrete temperature. So basically with this method we can rise the temperature of the concrete at the time of mixing, and also at the time of placing also it may have a certain good strength. So at the time of the placing it may have a good temperature. The next method is the electrical curing method. Mainly there are three types of curing methods: passing electrical through the concrete, passing high current with low voltage through the reinforcement frame, and the other method is use of large electrical blanket to heat the concrete surface. All those methods used as an electrical curing method. Another method is the infrared curing method. As we know, infrared curing is also used, but it's not commonly used in heating the concrete. The last method we are going to discuss is the use of the heat insulations. Insulation could be added to the concrete surface to avoid the concrete surface getting cooled and to control or avoid the heat transfer to the environment. Or else, other way also we can control the drop of the temperature also due to the environmental conditions also we can control with this method. Let's now see what are the things we have to consider or we should attain when you do the concrete pouring. There are a few different methods that now we use in concrete pouring in a cold weather. One of the common method is the heat in the concrete screed, which are long board that can be used to level the concrete surface. Heated screed can help to prevent the concrete from freezing, and also it will help to speed up the curing process. Another method is to maintain the concrete temperature during the transport. The concrete temperature can be increased by this method also. So as we discussed, concreting in a cold weather is a challenging because we cannot use the conventional method to maintain the concrete temperature. We have to use special technique. So when you do the normal concrete in a tropical country, there won't be a much issue like doing a concrete in a cold weather. That's very difficult task. Therefore, we have to use the technology and innovative method in this kind of a situations. I hope that you are aware about many facts on concreting in cold weather. Let's meet again from new video. Thank you very much for watching our videos.